As I normally do, I always start with a polysphere. And the polysphere, I start like shaping it, adding some primitives to create the head, body, neck, and start giving some shape to this character. Then with the clay buildup, I start like blocking out a little bit of the muscles, just a tiny bit, just kind of like to give that shape. And keep going with the primitives as well, kind of to set up the biceps, go back to my clay buildup and set up a little bit of those kind of like defined shapes. Every time I add those primitives, I always Dynamesh. It's a good way to do it. There are different workflows, like in this case, like, you know, I'm kind of like Dynameshing a lot before having my whole complete shape as primitives, which is a block out that a lot of people do, but in this case I just wanted to try something different, and I don't think there is nothing wrong with that. So I keep giving like more shapes, kind of like working in proportions and some lines, and it's kind of like a back and forward. I didn't have a definite strategy to work with this model, but definitely I kind of like went with the flow and start working in something and then go back to something else and keep going like that. And yeah, like for me it kind of like worked out, but you know, there's so many different ways that you can achieve the result, like different paths that you can take. There's some other ones, like for example right here, like I normally, because the arms were really close to the torso, I decided to cut them out and kind of like I started working from it and define like a really nice shapes between the shoulders and the traps and the chest. So that worked for me much better than having a complete model like all together or sub-tool all together. So that's a really good tip. I also did the same with the shorts, because you know, like they're different pieces. Like sometimes I didn't have like that defined shape yet, and I wanted to work in proportions, but I want to separate things. As I said, like was a little bit different this workflow. I normally have the full body and then I mask and I extract, but in this case I just mask and split it out. So kind of like to make it a little bit easier to have like those different parts already separate. But it's part of the being an artist, trying to try different things. In this case, like I was trying to add like some weights for it, but I decided at the end to model some dumbbells. I think that was like too big for the model. I might do a couple of renders with that, but I'm not sure yet. But I think it was a good idea to kind of like work in proportions, the posture as well, adding that weight on the front, like holding those weights. So it kind of like gives you a really nice sense of how your mold weight or balance is looking. Kind of like when you start interacting with the objects. And that's something that I'm lacking in my models, and I'm lacking in my as a character artist, is kind of like trying to be more versatile with the poses and the faces and the expressions that I'm making with my models. Then working, giving more shape to the feet and kind of like trying to get those angles and Achilles tendon in the right proportion as well. And the thing that I do, I know like maybe it couldn't be a good workflow, but I kind of like work in bits and pieces. For example, I just work a little bit on the arms, then move to something else, then move to something else, and then start kind of like looking the overall of my shape and trying to see if everything is kind of like looking accordingly. So I really like this process, because sometimes when you center on focus pretty much in just one spot, you're missing the overall general shape or general form of your air sculpt. And yeah, so definitely that's what I do, and that gives me kind of like an extra set of eyes or an extra intuition of how I'm gonna achieve and gonna apply like the anatomy that I'm doing in my characters. So as you can see here, for example, like for the shirt, I just mask, extract, Zremesh, and then do the extrude the shirt or the tank top, and then kind of like go back, and now I know what I'm seeing in the model, so I just kind of like focus more on what I'm seeing and not on what is hidden from me, like it's inside the shirt. So yeah, I like to add colors, just kind of like make it nicer to the eyes, so you know, it kind of like start, okay, so that's looking good, because sometimes if I feel that everything is gray, it's kind of like, I don't know, I just feel happy adding colors, to be honest. Also like getting the wrinkles for the shirts, it kind of like gives me a break, because like having a break in your model, and you know, kind of like you work something else, and that little break, it kind of like rests your eyes and rests your mind, so next time you go back to that specific like kind of like set of muscles or whatever part of the body you're working, you're gonna start working with a fresh set of eyes. So for the hands, you start like you know, adding some more details. I kind of like had that as a big mass of clay kind of thing, and then I just kind of start carving all those details. Then I add the headbands, because I know like I don't need to have the arms and the hands together, or like joined together. So that's what I did. Same thing with the shoes, same techniques what I do with the clothes. If you can see in my other videos that I go like a step by step how I create those clothes. Yeah, so it's pretty much like extract, mask and extract, mask and extract, and I'm just getting kind of like a, you know, some nice shapes in there as well, and flatten those out. So now with the head, I definitely like just do a polysphere, and then I bring it and I click the gear and give like some shape to it. And as I said, it's kind of like build in pieces, you know, like okay, so I do this part, and then I add some more stuff. Like for then I just move to the face. I think that was a good time to move to the face. I can start working more proportions, so my characters start like looking better, I would say. Like, you know, like okay, so now we have eyes, we have like a nose, a mouth, or definitely like with the body and everything. It's kind of like, okay, my character now is looking more as a character, not just kind of like a body with a ball for head. So in this process, like I've been studying a lot of anatomy, but head anatomy, face anatomy is something like if you really want to make heads and faces, it's something that is just practice, and it's improving us a lot. So the more you practice, the more you improve. So it's nice to make heads and do those exercises, because there are gonna be some parts that you're gonna see, oh my god, my head is looking not that good, or the proportions are not right, but you have to commit to finish the heads that you're doing. And the thing is like they're gonna work good for sure. I'm sure that they're gonna work really good, because there's people that talk about the alien face, and you reach a point where your face, you're just gonna look so bad, it's not gonna look proper, that you know, a lot of people tend to give up to that point. And to be honest, like if you keep going doing those faces, those heads, like you're gonna see that alien face, you reach it, and then you move and keep improving, and then your character is gonna look nice, and it's gonna have a really nice, like, appealing face. But as you see, like even though like I had like like a normal face, I had like a couple of references. I was referencing Sara Sigsmundsdottir from the CrossFit Games, but I kind of like, this is not looking that good. So kind of like I'm trying to find and reach that likeness. It's not that easy. So, you know, it's a matter of patience and work, and I actually spent so much time doing the face and trying to get to get like a really nice look-alike, pretty much. I'm not saying that I really nailed the likeness of her, but I was kind of like close. But in a point I was just, okay, let's do that, move on. I know the next character that I'm gonna do is gonna be much better. So then I separated like some of the kind of like you know, no, I didn't actually separate. I tried to separate and then I left it together. But anyways, like after that, kind of like if you add like the eyelashes, the eyebrows, you know, your character's face start changing a lot. So you can, once you have that, you can start working more on your likeness, I think, and add a little bit more of a poly paint to the eyeshadows and the lips and so on. So yeah, for this part I just kind of like do the bandana. It's the same, like pretty much it's the same technique, like to clothes. That's what I do. I just extract, Zremesh, and go from there. And yeah, but you know, like it's just a matter of things that, okay, it's gonna look better. Sometimes I go like to C plugin transpose tool, and with the transpose I kind of like do an overall of all proportions for it, so I mask out the eyes and then I can move together the eyebrows and the eyelashes as well. And I was just following my references, add some Polypaint and trying to get that likeness much better, break a little bit of symmetry so it looks nicer. And I think like, you know, it's just kind of like back and forth, keep going, look at your reference, keep more, look at your reference, turn around your model, keep looking if it's looking the proper way. So after finishing my poly paint, so I just kind of like finished my poly paint, I was kind of like happy with the whole poly paint of the body. I jumped into Maya and I just kind of like did a really quick kind of like modeling in like dumbbells. Like I normally, like it's just way faster in Maya than Blender, but I like all my renders I do in Blender. I try to use Blender way more because I want to do more Blender tutorials as well. So you're gonna see more sculpting in Blender as well. And I did a mistake here. I should have kind of like a freeze transformation before I export and make sure that all your transformations and your normals are going the right way, so you can just have it right, like I have it here. So yeah, definitely. So this is it for this video. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, to like this video, comment, share. It really will help a lot. So take care and see you next time. Bye guys.